I think there is certainly something serene and awe-inspiring to be found in decaying structures. Whether that be a place of business or a home, nature reclaiming something made by human hands is very interesting. I've long been a fan of these environments, and I've always loved watching hours and hours of media on the theme. Recently, I've noticed a shift in the landscape of these videos, though, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about them. First of all, let's talk about what makes these pieces so interesting to engage with. The most engaging I've found are places like hotels, vacation destinations, theme parks, and hospitals. I believe the primary reason for this being that one look at a reception area or group of water slides is that you immediately notice something is wrong. Areas filled with people are suddenly desolate, and all activity has come to a standstill. You could group these areas in with something like liminal spaces, which I hope you have heard of. If not, I'll link to a fantastic video in the description. Areas where humanity once resided and now are left to rot are deeply interesting. The question one comes up with when looking at these locations are immense. Why would such a place be abandoned? Where is everyone? What dark secrets does this place hold? What would places I love look like if they were abandoned? When exploring the background of many locations, there are two main reasons something becomes abandoned: financial situations and horrific incidents. In the financial group, it could often be bankruptcy as the park was running, or the funds running out before the doors could even open. Horrific incidents range, but a fire or a natural disaster usually are one of the main sources. I'm not sure if it's always the sadness that comes with locations like Chernobyl that one becomes fixated on. It reminds me a lot of the Titanic. It's sort of an interest in how could this happen? How could one survive this? And if things do go so poorly, what will it look like? These buildings and locations hold a beauty I can't quite describe, and I don't believe I want to describe it. To see it is to enjoy it. It's not destruction by human terms that seems to build beauty. If these locations were taken down by a bulldozer, I really would want to spend hours watching that. It's nature's slow and methodical process that makes it so wonderful, so enchanting to look at. It's this ideal I hold that made some recent comments I saw on Instagram a little bit concerning. Unfortunately, I can't find the post in the tidal wave of content, and I can't even remember the page it was on, which is very unfortunate. I wish I could, and if I do, they will be posted in the top of my comments. I mean, right at the top. I'll look again before this video goes up, but I really can't find it. The page posts a lot of abandoned buildings in both video and photographic mediums, most of which had some explanation behind it. The page never states the locations due to wanting to keep these beautiful pieces as the way they are, in a way we do with our monuments, kind of like pyramids and ancient temples. They made a post of very concerning comments they've gotten, and in the large human race, a prevalent cynical view seems to be shared. To go against the grain and be spiteful. To be right in the face of everything else. To be the hero of the hour is an encompassing goal of many people. And it seemed like a few people had that same rationale when they saw these posts. One of the comments that struck a chord with me is one I've seen shared in a few videos I've watched, of course in the cesspool of community comments. People really wanted the locations to be shared, not so one can go and enjoy the scenery and leave the time capsule as it was, but so that way one can break things, take some of the abandoned items, maybe put their own mark on it. A lot of people seem to want to use these places to make their own art, to paint on the canvas of time. It reminds me of that woman who damaged a national park for her really awful art. I'll link to that as well. It's pretty hilarious. I think the main problem with this is the hubris of these people. To believe your art is better than any natural scenery, better than the wear down of time, and better than nature is pretty narcissistic. The best beauty is at odds with nature, or with it. To be so mechanical it's unrecognizable, or to be in tune with nature. Nobody goes to a park to see your art, and nobody goes to an abandoned place to view your work. The second group seemed to be in the minority, but a few people wanted these locations to be known so homeless people could live within. Now, it doesn't take a genius to come up with the idea that a structure left to the elements and to time will become hazardous to human health. Most of the people who explored these locations used respirators and gloves. I'm sure these people were well-meaning, and they didn't comment on posts you'd expect. It wasn't an abandoned hotel, which, still contained insane amounts of hazards. It would be something like an abandoned factory filled with sharp hazards and dripping ceilings. In fact, the one I saw this comment on had a roof half caved in. Now, you could make a case that this would be a better home than the street, but if you honestly wanted to help the homeless epidemic, you'd work to address the underlying problems in place and not just send them off to sleep in a broken pile of glass and asbestos. The best abandoned locations are devoid of humanity. So far away and so green it's as if nature swallowed them. These pieces will fall eventually, but their fall is being recorded. Revisiting these locations years apart are some of my favorite videos, as you can watch how quickly a building left on its own will decay. It's like as soon as we turn our backs, the very earth begins to eat at our buildings. No matter how high, how strong, or well planned, it seems everything is only temporary. Say what you will about this video, you can completely disagree with me, understandably so. I could talk for much longer on these various locations and how, as a child, I would spend hours thinking about how cool it would be to go into the looming structures left dormant in my hometown. But I don't think anyone truly wants to hear that. I've left a few of my favorite channels in the description. Thank you for watching. All right. That's good.